Hi, this is Chuck King. Today on the King's Guide, we're celebrating one of Old Spokane's colorful characters, Alvin L. Wilson, or more famously known as By Gum Wilson. Back in the early 1900s, Spokane residents often found a bearded gentleman in a wheelchair on the corner of Stevens and Riverside selling candy, pencils, and shoestrings. Alvin Wilson made his living on the streets, but in 1910, he lived in a small cabin at 1124 West Riverside. Eventually, his cabin was removed to make way for the Smith Funeral Home. Locals grew fond of this street peddler, who they said always had a smile for them and a kind word. They nicknamed him the Pencil Man and Shoestring Wilson. Another nickname, By Gum Wilson, was embraced by Alvin Wilson himself, which he used in his own advertising. After several years of working on the street, Wilson had saved enough to start his own confectionery at North 120 Division Street. A sign on the store read, "By gum, by gum." Alvin Wilson's professional life started in the late 1800s when he took up a trade in the cutting-edge field of electricity. Imagine the world at the time and how technological advancements that we take for granted, like the light bulb, were as new and exciting to them as we were about smartphones 15 years ago. In 1893, the Chicago World's Fair showcased an enormous display of innovative technology owned by new companies like General Electric and Westinghouse. President Grover Cleveland stole the show when he pushed a button, and thousands of tube lights and multicolored searchlights lit up the Chicago sky in a display the likes of which had never been seen before. All this fuss about light bulbs, something we take entirely for granted today. But in the lifetime of Alvin Wilson, this was almost as glamorous as flight or space travel, and he shared in its glory as an electrician. But by the turn of the century, Wilson was in a wheelchair due to locomotor ataxia, which came on gradually. Somehow, the loss of the use of his legs and the loss of his esteemed profession didn't result in the loss of his good-natured spirit or his enthusiasm for life. In a 1910 newspaper story, Wilson explained his philosophy of life. There is a feeling of satisfaction that can come only to the man who is independent and can, when the day is over, realize that he has earned his right to live. Jeff Sims wrote a beautiful article on Wilson's life in the May-June 2018 issue of Nostalgia magazine, and as a part of his research, Jeff uncovered Wilson's temporary marker at Riverside Memorial Park, which misspelled Wilson's name. Over the summer, Jeff gathered with other history lovers to celebrate the unveiling of By Gum Wilson's new headstone, which will hopefully help people remember this otherwise forgotten character of Spokane's history. I'm Chuck King. See you next time on the King's Guide. If you like today's goodies on Spokane history, make sure you subscribe to Nostalgia magazine. You'll find more goodies in every issue. Ageless stories, ageless photos. That's Nostalgia magazine.
I know I have waited, know why I've been blue, prayed each night for someone exactly like you. Why do we spend money on a show or two when no one does those love scenes exactly like you? You make me feel so grand, I wanna hand the world to you.